Hey there, gang. Thanks for tuning in and checking out the video. We are playing the Elder Scrolls Online on the PCNA server, and we are going to be checking out Tetriana DR's Valraisvea, Ayleid Ruins. Again, that's Tetriana DR. That's Tetriana DR. That's her Ayleid Ruins on the PCNA server. So this build is called the Aquamancer's Lost Library, and what we did is essentially started out going for a Coral Castle look. And if you're into housing in the Elder Scrolls Online, you know that it's always a challenge to try and get that balance between scale and fullness and size and detail. That furnishing cap is such a doozy and a challenge to work with, and I think we all want it increased, but for the time being, I don't think that's going to happen in the near to immediate future. So we worked with what we got, and that's why this wasn't a complete Coral Castle. We ended up just doing an Aquamancer's Lost Library. So we've got this big coral structure that's intended to appear as though it rose from the ocean or it was crafted by this Aquamancer. And this is where he does all his studying and whatever other silly shenanigans he might get into. One of the big criticisms I got on this house is that it was very confusing for visitors to figure out where are they supposed to go. And I did try to use lighting, like we've got that lighting buried in there, shining on that rock, and we've got some lighting over there, and we've got some lighting over here to the left. And I guess that's kind of what's confusing about it, is that there's all that lighting. But I tried to use some pet pathing and some lighting to guide visitors to check this out. Let's get a look at this, because I did put this NPC over here with the intent to draw the eye in the direction that she would be staring, so we get a nice look at the underside of that mermaid statue that we'll get a better look at when we go up top. As a matter of fact, let me run in there real quick, just so, because I fell in love with this view and I wish I could have made it more prominent. But again, with the furnishing cap, I was really torn on the views I wanted to get with this, but love the appearance that the underside of that mermaid statue has, with that sort of water globule look that it gives. So I had kind of envisioned that as maybe the source of power for the Aquamancer in his library here. So I made a viewing point for visitors that didn't reach out to me to get magic carpet privileges. If you do message in-game to either Tetriana DR or to jbone9940, we can give you magic carpet privileges if you wanted to take a look at this house. So if not, I did put this viewing point out here so that you could get a nice view, and nighttime might end up being close to over by the time that we finish this tour. So if it is and the sun starts to rise, this is positioned as such that the sun rises over and casts rays over the top of the towers. And it's really a pretty look. But I did wait for nighttime to tour this house because lighting just looks better at night, in my opinion. And I really think it brings the contours of the architecture to life here. My OCD forced me to try and stay symmetric with this build, as is typical with a lot of my builds. But I still tried to keep it, to leave it with an organic feel. And from this viewing point, I did use those big blue corals to the left to try and frame the direction that you're supposed to be going to get up into this library. So let's take a run over there and get up inside and see what else this looks like. But I do hope that you appreciate the view of the grandness of the structure, and from so far away, and just how massive of a structure this was to build. And again, I wanted to go Coral Castle at the beginning, but the challenge of just filling the rooms and not making them look just empty, and I really feel like the visual candy that is the water features and the lighting that I put in this house, it just outweighs the value of furnished rooms, bedrooms, and dining rooms, kitchens that you might see in most other builds. I'm trying to open this clamshell. Some visitor shut in on me, and I really didn't want to turn on the UI. There we go. We popped it open. There we've got our pearl inside of our clam. Here's our first fountain that we're going to take a look at. Wanted to make all the water in here feel as though it had a magical source. Just wanted to give a magical aquatic feel to this whole build. So we framed that vertical surface of water you see there as a Moon's Blessed Pool. There's quite a few Moon's Blessed Pools used within this, but the body of water here at our feet is actually part of the build. And that was what was so attractive to me about this home, was the water features, because I really think the Elder Scrolls developers did an amazing job at making the water features available in this game just really look breathtaking. And throwing in the light combination with some of those aquatic coral formations, just really pretty stuff. Let's go check out our two towers here. Again, Lost Library. So this whole thing is meant to be a big, massive library for a very powerful Aquamancer. Perhaps he's got ships to navigate. He's got all his maps and star charts over on this side. I put sort of two viewing platforms at the forefront of the towers and use this orange light to look almost as if they were like lighthouse beacons for ships that might be coming to visit. Perhaps they're trading spells with him or her. Lots of bookcases, lots of crystals, lots of aquatic furnishings thrown in here. Just wanted to make it look really magical, really organic. And I fell in love with this fountain feature, and we'll take a closer look at this as well, but this is a pretty good viewpoint. We've got the mermaid statue at the base, and all these waterfalls and fountains that are making this multi-tier fountain come down, pour down the center of this build. Got another water feature around the front here. It's our Mistress of Shadow, or what's the shadow person's name? The one with the birds. That's her. We've got the little dwarven lamp buried in the coral there, shining up on her. And that's the Vivic divination pool that she's standing in to give it that extra hint of that yellow, orange, reddish light. Got our second tower over here. More bookcases, crystal lighting, aquatic decor, some floating books on our coral shelves, a little centerpiece kind of flower arrangement. It's a miniature statuette of the mermaid statue that we have there at the base of the fountain. And here's our little seashell in the Jester's Coffer. And anybody that's into housing tours, if you haven't seen J. Hart Ellis at Twitch TV, this Jester Coffer is for him. Probably one of the most rewarding parts of the builds is when J. Hart tours them. I have been in the Divine Design Alliance, which is by far the best housing guild in the Elder Scrolls Online. So competing in their Home of the Month competitions or submitting a home for their showcase equally as rewarding, but still I appreciate J. Hart's tours above and beyond all else. Excuse me, don't smoke, kids. Here's our second viewing platform, again with the yellow light to sort of look like a beacon, if you will. And we're creeping up on the 10-minute mark, so I don't want to pass up many details, but I am going to sort of speed up a little bit. We mirrored the fountain feature that was on the entrance side of this library. It's over there. Mirrored that over here. A slightly different table, But in general, the same features: the Moon's Blessed pool, some waterfalls coming out of the pool into this little pool at the bottom that was available that was part of the house. We've got our little Leeuwin fountains in there as well. Got our primary sorcerer's chamber up here, and I was really happy how I was able to pull this off with the Dibella statue. We've got the Red Guard fountain buried in these coral formations up top to give that water the look that it's coming down and splashing off the top of this clamshell. I covered up the flower that is in her hand with a bed of seaweed. Just keep it with that aquatic feel. And then we've got the abyssal pearl in there that she is adoring. And that is on the doorsteps of the Aquamancer's main chambers, if you will. We've got a big Ayleid water feature backdrop to his throne over there. And just lots of floating crystals. I finished this house literally a couple weeks before the Fargrave floating or levitating water globules came out. So I definitely want to come back to this house and put those in here. They definitely belong in here. But like I said, I finished this build before they were released. And then we've got all those floating crystals in the center with all the different candle flies. Let's try and get down to this lower chamber here. It is the last chamber of this house. I'm going to go down our massive water feature here that we sort of looked at off the edge of that one tower. See if we can get a better view. I use these Ayleid crystal beacons, or light wells, if you will, to make it appear as though they were the starting source of this water, this giant waterfall fountain. And it goes down both sides. We'll come down this side and then take a look at it from the base. Just multi-tiered exotic fountain. Took a lot of time making sure the water levels made sense with one another. That there weren't any massive voids between the waterfalls and the surface of the next water. And then them all landing and splashing down onto the base of this never-ending mermaid fountain here. And of course, had to throw these in. I love the hints of that warm glow that those cabbage flowers give against the blue lighting. So yeah, absolutely had so much fun building this waterfall feature. But that's not all, folks. Let's go down here to the bottom. What's this? Got a little statue under the mushroom. So many visitors miss this part of the house, and it makes me very sad because I loved this part of the build. If you're familiar with this home, there is a gorgeous room down here, and I had to use it, but I didn't know how to incorporate it in, and I'm very happy with how I figured out how to do so. I'm very happy with how I pulled it off in any event. Just this giant coral tunnel kind of taking us down there. And I had to balance, like, again, the scale and versus the detail. So I also wanted to block off the other large portions of this house to avoid having things feel empty. Any portion of it where you go, I didn't want it to feel empty. And that's actually a Meridia statue. I've got her wings covered up with that Moon's Blessed ceremonial pool behind her again. Just some more coral water features, lighting. We've got our pond down there with our fountain shooting our little water up. And perhaps this was the Aquamancer's predecessor that's buried down here. Who knows? Use your imagination. Again, this is at Tetriana DR's house on the PCNA server. That's TETRIANADR on the PCNA server. Really appreciate you checking out the video. Would love to have you come and visit in person and take your time in there. Shoot us a message if you want to use Magic Carpet. Thanks for watching, and hope you check out some other videos. Have a great day.